can see here. A country doctor sets out to help a patient in the middle of a windy night. Whom does he meet on the way? And what does he learn? Let's read and find out. And the person meet who? And what does he learn? Let's read and find out. He threw back the covers and sat up on his bed. His feet feeling along the cold floor for the house sleeper. The telephone ringing instantly. A little distance. He turned on light and walked to the phone and took down the receive. This is a Dr. Benson, he said. The November wind was bringing sound of winter as blew around the little white house. The doctor got into his clothes. He went to the table and stared a moment at his watch. His spirit, complaining at the job ahead of him. "2 o'clock, his mind complained at the horrible horror and wondered why children had to be born at such emperor time. He took up 2 small handbags, the short pill bags, as the people of the town knew it. And the long obstetrical case, the baby bag they called it. The pills of bag, and the people of the town knew it. And the long obstacle case, the baby bag, they called it. Same the baby see, we give the food and water. The small handbags. Dr. Benson stopped a moment to light and then put the pack of cigarettes in his overcoat pocket. The wind felt like surgeon's knife at his face. He has opened the door and run blending low around the driveway. His car started with difficulty. coughed half a dozen times as he drove down the driveway, but then began to run more smoothly. As he turned down Grass Street and on the desert highway, Mrs. Ott Sorley, who Dr. Benson was on his way to visit, already had almost a dozen children. But it seemed to the doctor that never once had she had a baby in good weather. Nor in daylight. Weather is good, nor in daylight. And while Dr. Benson was a country doctor, he was still a young man and couldn't find the pleasure that his father, the old Dr. Benson, had found in seeing Ott. The father always 2 or 3 babies behind in payment of his baby bills. How do you think the story proceeds? Will it be about Mr. or Mrs. Sorley? Or will there be chance meeting with someone else? Read ahead to find out. It was a long ride to the Sorley farm, and the sight of a man walking alone along the country road as seen just ahead by the light of the car was a welcome relief to the doctor. He slowed down and looked at the man walking along with difficulty against the wind, a little package under his arm. Coming alongside, Dr. Benson stopped and invited the man to ride. The man got in. Are you going far? asked the doctor. I am going all the way to Detroit, said the man. A rather thin man with small black eyes filled with tears from the wine. Could you give me a cigarette, please? Dr. Benson unbuttoned his coat, then remembered the cigarette in the outer pocket of his overcoat. He took out the packet and gave it to the rider. When the cigarette was lighted, the man held the packet a moment, then asked, "Do you mind, mister, if I take another cigarette for later?" The rider shook the packet to remove another cigarette without waiting for the doctor to answer. Dr. Benson felt a hand touch his pocket. "I will put them back your pocket," the little fellow said. Dr. Benson put his hand down quickly to receive the cigarettes and was a little irritated to find them already in his pocket. A few minutes later, Dr. Benson said, "So, you are going to Detroit?" "I am going out to look for work in one of the automobile plants." "Are you a mechanic?" asked the doctor. "More or less. I have been driving a truck since the war ended, but I lost my job about a month ago." "But I lost my job." "Were you in the army during the war?" "Yeah, I was in the ambulance section." "Right up at the front." "Drove an ambulance for 4 years." "Is that so?" said Dr. Benson. "I am a doctor myself." "Dr. Benson is my name." "Is it my name?" "Dr. Benson." "I thought this car smelled like pills." The man laughed. Then he added more seriously, "My name is Evans." They rode along silently for a few minutes, and the rider moved himself in his seat and placed his package on the floor. As the man leaned over, Dr. Benson cut his first good look at the small, your cat-like face. The doctor also noticed the long deep scar on the man's cheek, bright and red, looking as though it were of recent origin. He thought of Mrs. Ott sorely and reached for his watch. His fingers went deep into his pocket before he realized that his watch was not there. And they are understand. Before he realized that his watch was not there. Now I am remember. And watch was not. Did the doctor like Evans? Small cat-like face and bright fresh scars. Would you have thought well of Evans? What do you think will happen next? Let's see. Dr. Benson moved his hand very slowly and very carefully below the seat until he felt the leather holster. In which he always carried with him his automatic pistol. He drew out the pistol slowly and held it in the darkness at his side. Dr. Benson stopped the car quickly and pushed the nose of his gun into Evan's side. The rider jumped with fear and put hand quickly. Dr. Benson pushed the pistol still deeper into the man's side and repeated coldly, "Put that watch in the pocket before I let this gun go off." Evans put his hand in his own vest pocket and later, with trembling hands, tried to put the watch into the doctor's pocket. With his free hand, Dr. Benson pushed the watch down into his pocket. He opened the door and forced the out man of the car. "I am out here tonight," probably to save a woman's life. But I took time out to try to help you, he said to the man angrily. The man is very angry. Dr. Benson started the car quickly, and the wind closed the door with a loud noise. He put the pistol back. The drive up the mountain to the Sorley farm was less difficult than he had feared, and Old Sorley had sent one of his order boys down the road with a lantern to help him across the old wooden bridge that led up to the little farmhouse. The boy down the road. Mrs. Sorley, many previous experiences with bringing children into the world apparently helped her greatly because she delivered this child with little difficulty, and there was no need on Dr. Benson's part for the instruments in the long bag. Dr. Benson part for the instrument in the long bag. After it was all over, however, Dr. Benson took a cigarette and sat down to smoke. Was the doctor right in turning Evans out in the cold? Do you think he will ever know whether he was right or wrong? Was the case of suspicion justified? A fellow I picked up in a car on my way up here tonight tried to rob me, he said to Art, feeling a little proud. He took my watch, but when I pushed my .45 pistol into his side, he decided to give it to me back. It is a pistol. When I pushed my pistol into his side, he decided to give it me to back. Art smiled wide at such an exciting story coming from young Dr. Benson. Well, I am glad he gave it back to you, Art said, because if he had not, we would not have any idea what time you Dr. Benson took the watch from his pocket. The baby delivered about 30 minutes ago. And right now, it's he walked over the lamp on the table. He stared strangely at the watch in his hand. The crystal was cracked. The top was broken. He turned the watch over and I held it closer to the lamp. He studied the worn inscription there. To Private T. Evans Ambulance Section, whose personal bravery preserved our life. The night of November 3, 1943, near the Italian fronts. Nurses Nesbit, Jones and Wingate. It is a bravery preserved our life. And he is E. Wallace. I explain the story of E. Wallace. Thank you for watching.